Six o'clock, so I'll call this meeting to order. If you please join me in the pledge of allegiance. Thank you. Hey, roll call. Nathan.
Here.
Eric.
Here.
Ashley.
Here.
Amber.
Here.
And Keith is here, and so is Dennis. Anybody signed up for public comment tonight?
No.
Not for public. Student council update.
Hello. So as the year is ending, student council is just working on wrapping up our t-shirt sales. And that will be during lunch on the 13th and the 26th of this month. In addition to selling the remainder of those merchandise items, we are working on getting our new freshmen into student council, and their applications are due this Friday, and then their class is going to vote on it and decide who the next 4 members will be. Thank you for an awesome year.
Thank you. Next up is discussion of possible action of the school board meeting minutes from April 21st, 2021, our regular school board meeting. Motion for approval.
I'll make a motion.
Oh.
Motion by Amber. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Nathan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign. We'll have the treasurer's report. You have the 2 usual papers in front of you. We're finding a lot of consistency through this year. The funds and expenditures have been running about 600,000 less than we were at this time last year. And the other sheet that breaks down the expenditures by object code, it's the same kind of thing. In most instances, salary and benefits, as we talked about before, we're about 3.6 positions less this year than we were last year. And of course, that there's a lot of salaries and benefits to do with that. The other place that's been really interesting is food service. And most of the revenues are about the same year to year, but expenditures in food service and Fund 10 have been lower than they had traditionally been. And of course, food service, we have less staff, so that's part of what's gone down there. But we've also been a little bit below in food costs. So, there's been less kids in school, less days in school, so we're also a little bit down there. But this is the first time that the bottom line right now at food service, we're about $1,500 less revenue than expenditures. That's usually not true. It's always way more expenditures, way more than revenues. The revenues are slow to catch up. It's always a reimbursement of the next month. So that's a very positive sign for food service that they're close to the end of this month. Again, a very, very good sign for them to not be as in the debt as they have in some past years. Thank you. Any further discussion from the board? Entertain a motion for accepting the report.
I'll make a motion to accept this.
Motion by Ashley, second.
I'll second it.
Second by Amber. Any further discussion? Hearing none, and all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Next up will be, I'll actually make this a motion. We accept the payroll for 5/28/21 and vouchers 4214001 dash through 42149 and vouchers 2020338 through 202000369 for $431,771.90.
I'll second it.
Second, any further discussion? Hearing none, and all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Next up, we get some gifts and donations. What's up? Yeah, the first donation, I want to thank the Columbus Motor Food Pantry for helping us with some kids that had negative food balances, $100 donation towards that. Less kids, of course, this year getting negative balance because of free lunch and breakfast, but there still were some kids who in the past were still negative and they had a chance to catch up on with the future. So thank the Columbus Motor Food Pantry for their donation. Then the plaque is that put placed? Or the second one for the donation? Oh, yeah, the second one. I'm trying to recall the exact amount of donation from the Fire Foundation. It's a neighborhood of $5,500. They helped donate towards mobile equipment for the new track facility. Mostly in memory of Doug Lee. If you've been up there, you'll see a plaque in memory of Doug Lee around the full wide area. It's a really special thing that one night for the foundation meeting, we just went down there. That was a meeting just to install that plaque. So it's a very nice thing in memory of the man who donated a lot of time and life to the pole, especially in this community. So we want to thank both of those entities. Very good. Okay, next up, new business. We got time for nomination and election of board officers for the 2021-2022 school year. Start with the board president. I'll do call for open the nominations for 3 times for nominees, and then after that, we'll make a motion. So for school board president.
I'll nominate Nathan Feeds for school board president.
Nominations for school board president. Third time, nominations for school board president. Hearing none, entertain a motion to close nomination. Motion by Ashley. Do we hear a second? Yep. For a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, then all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Great. And now, since we have a contested race, we have 2 options. We can do a voice, or we can do if we do a ballot, then Nathan will have to speak. Do a voice vote for Nathan. We'll do a roll call. Nathan.
Aye.
Nathan Feeds.
Ashley.
Do I say yes or no, or do I say just for Nathan?
For Nathan.
No.
Keith. I guess we pretty much have it.
It's still good, it's still right.
So, thank you very much. Appreciate
I
that.
would do the roll call so that it's.
Okay. And the roll call for that would be Nathan, for Keith. We're going to do a roll call for theory voted, so you can't vote again.
Oh, okay.
No, you're voting. Which
So
person
if
you're
we
voting.
do that automatically.
Okay. Thank you. And then next up will be nominations for vice president.
I'll nominate Mary for the vice.
Nominations for vice president.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Yeah.
What is the, just to make sure I'm clear, what is the role for the vice president? I just, I
I
got.
last night just to kind of remind, like, I went into the WAFD and just did some research, just so that I
Perfect.
remember that what the roles all entitled. I actually had it up here. Tell you. Sorry, I had it up, but it just, wow. So the vice president, in the absence of the president, acts as the chairperson for all school board meetings. In the absence that the president would discharge the board duties, second. And then vote on all matters. Or other responsibilities. So the biggest thing I think with the vice president is that we would back up the duties of the president if like he can't, or if he can't make it or if something not there. And I'm certain it's too like maybe he put it time. That help?
Yeah. Okay.
That time for nominations for vice president, I nominate David Booth. Take a motion to close nominations. Motion by Ashley to close nominations, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Hannah. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Right.
Opposed, same sign. For Derek, for vice president.
Just like it was trying to just ask for clarification. Do we say yes or no, or do we say the person's name?
Yes, or no.
I just call him for Derek.
This is cool.
That's okay.
Only one third.
That's totally interesting.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Oh, the roll starts with me. Sorry.
And if you kind of just want the rule, you have to speak up. Just so everybody knows.
Okay. Well, couldn't we be a good team together? Before I accept the nomination, can we be a good team together? I just want to make sure, like, I'm going to be a right fit with you. I want to make sure.
Oh, sure.
Okay, just want to make sure that it wasn't going to put you, I didn't want to put you in a bad spot. All right, yeah, yes, I accept the nomination and I'll vote for myself.
Okay. Ashley.
Yes.
For Derek. Nathan.
Am I voting for Derek?
Derek or yourself? Right now it's Derek, yes.
I'm gonna vote with Derek. I'm gonna vote for Derek.
Derek prevails. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, next will be nominations for school clerk. Other nominations for school clerk? Any nominations for school clerk? Hearing none, and I just entertain a motion for closing nominations.
I'll make a motion to close nominations.
Motion by Aaron, and second by Derek. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Next up will be treasurer, school treasurer.
I'm nominating Ashley.
Could you
Nominations
speak
are now.
into the microphone a little bit more? I'm sorry, you guys back here.
I nominated Nathan for treasurer.
Okay.
And I'm nominating Ashley.
Let's go two more times. Any nominations for treasurer? Nominations for treasurer. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for closing nominations.
I'll close nominations.
Okay, motion by Ashley to close.
Second.
Second by Derek to close nominations. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, so the treasurer, we've got a nomination for Derek. So we'll do.
We have your name.
Or Nathan, I'm sorry.
Does anybody not like the strong? I like to know what people.
Yeah,
Nathan?
you can decline.
Yeah, that's what
That's what I was gonna ask. Can I decline that?
yeah, you can.
I'll decline. Ashley, you stay the treasurer.
Thanks.
Okay, so Ashley is our school treasurer, so we have our offices. 2021, 22. Thank you. Okay, next up will be board committee assignments for the 2021-22 school year.
That's the current, but you can
Dennis,
Pardon?
with the
do
committee.
you have the committee?
Sure. The human resources and wellness was Amber and Nathan. Policy was Keith and Ashley. Buildings and grounds was Paul and Nathan. Education was Amber and Ashley.
Payroll, what they're looking for.
I would like to stick on education. I don't care about policy.
I really like school policy, so I would appreciate that one. Working.
I like being on the education one, but
I think it's great that we have representation from different.
What's that?
I think it's great that we have different representation from master teachers, so. Yeah.
What is Nathan?
Ethan, what would you like? Yeah.
I'm gonna stick on building and grounds.
I'll take the, did you ask what I wanted?
Yes.
If I could do building and grounds, that would be fantastic, along with human resources again.
And I'll do wellness. And as well, you know.
Keith, what were you policy and building and grounds?
I can't.
Is that what it was?
No, I wasn't holding the grounds, it was just policy, and I think.
Oh.
Well, then I was a delegate.
Oh, right.
All.
Oh,
I can certainly do buildings and grounds also.
You want to build it?
Sure.
Does that fill everybody up, Dennis?
Yes, it does.
That's all the things. There's other spots that we have to go.
Those are the next items. The next one's.
All those are separate, yeah.
Okay. So we need to vote on that, or is that just a? Okay. So,
If they want, then they can just, they say, sure, we'll accept and stay on.
everybody accepts the new committee assignments they got? Next up will be for WASB.
Can I just remind you guys to speak into the mic just a little bit more clear?
Sure.
I'm sorry that I'm putting you in this position in the first place. My fault.
I'm sorry. Next up will be the WASB delegate selection for the 2021-2022 school year. We've done that in the past, and I'd be more than honored to do it.
I'm okay with you too. Unless somebody else wants to.
I'm fine with that.
Nathan, do you have you okay with Tina, or did you have a preference on that?
I do not.
Nathan's currently the CISA 5 rep, which is the next item.
What's that?
Nathan's currently the CISA 5 rep, which is the next item on the discussion.
Oh, this is fine.
Yep.
It used to be the newer.
Now, for the delegate, I probably should have a vote on that, right? To select, the school board selects me to be the delegate for the school.
I'll make a motion to that Keith be the WASB delegate selection for the 21-22 school year.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Amber, second by Ashley. Any further discussion? Hearing none, and all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, election for the CISA 5 representative for the 2021-22 school year. So, Nathan, would you take that chair on again?
Yep, yes, sir.
Anybody else? No, then I'll make a motion for Nathan to be our CISA 5 representative for the 2021-22 school year.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Keith, second by Amber. Any further discussion? Hearing none, and all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next up is the review of the 2021-22 school board calendar. There's no calendar.
Oh.
Is it in the packet? There's no calendar. Is there? Does it need to be done this month, or can we do it to next month? Because I can get my county board meetings figured out too, if we have to do them.
I know that last May we had tabled it to the June meeting anyways, because we were waiting for the dates that you.
Yeah,
For what?
but my county board meeting conflicts, so I can get the schedule for next year. Because it's always the same. Place. So I'd make a motion to table to the June meeting.
I wanted to make sure we were talking about the school board calendar, not the school district one, so, okay.
Here a second?
I'll stop it, just tabling it till June.
Yeah.
June 9th, is that the date?
Yeah. Any further discussion? Hearing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Carried. Next will be discussion possible action on the WIA membership renewal. Each year, the WIA asks school boards to approve that the school district stay in the WIA. We need to be part of that if we want to compete in any kind of WIA tournament, so it's kind of a no-brainer. Also, they do not charge us anything, so it's really a free service. Okay. And with that, make a motion to renew our WIA membership for the 2021-22 school year.
I'll second that.
I'll second Nate's motion.
Okay. Motion by Keith, second by Nathan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries. Next up is discussion possible action on updates for the plan for safer state. We put this on every board agenda in case we have some sort of recommendation we'd like to make. At this point, we're looking at how close we are to the end of the year and end of athletics, end of the school year, and summer school starting soon. We feel it's in our best interest to just continue the path we're on a little bit longer. We're still looking at the recommendation in the June board meeting of maybe during the July summer school, make some alterations to the that face mask wearing, and maybe at that point let it be optional. But again, we don't want to mess things up down the stretch in the school year or the athletic seasons. Okay. No action required there. Okay, topics for the newsletter. I just ask we do our same routine for the donations and make mention of that so they get recognition. We will be putting in all the scholarship items too and stuff like that for. Yeah. Okay.
Can I ask a question about the newsletter? And maybe it's already on the website. I see it's recording the meeting up there. Is there a spot on the school website that we put the recorded meetings?
Very good question.
What was that?
So I see it's recording the meeting, and which is awesome. And I just wondered if there's a spot on the school website we put the recorded meetings.
It's the first one that's actually recorded with a camera that we bought for this purpose, so I'm guessing that you could see that coming in the future, but we are doing our first recording of the meeting then.
We add to the board.
Yep. And then I do.
I was just wondering if it is on the website, hopefully, that we could put that in the newsletter too, like to review the May board meeting. You can find it wherever it will be.
Sure. Okay, anybody else, anything else? Next up is discussion of possible action, audit and engagement.
Yeah, in your packet, a document from Johnson & Block, our CPAs that have done our audit in the past number of years. We feel that they're very competent, they're very helpful, and we've got some things we'd like to work with them this year, get some questions answered, so we kind of like to keep them as auditors if we approve them tonight.
Keep the continuity.
Yes.
Any thoughts of anybody else on the board?
We had talked about this before, I think, and Paul had asked the question if it was good to switch auditors, and I think that Dennis, you had said, correct, that it's nice to kind of keep the continuity if you trust them and everything is going well.
Yes, especially with Colleen and Andrea and I kind of new working together, it's kind of helped to have a little bit of consistency, at least in our first few years together. So we appreciate the service they get, and we've kind of got some questions we'd like to run through with them. Since they know us, it'll be easier to work with them.
We have a history of doing the school has all the moves as prior previously. And as far as documents goes, that we always use Johnson.
Yes, so as far as I remember, Ryan, you're
And
the
then I
one.
just thought we have all.
What did it get brought up at the annual meeting? It seems like it did, was, I think it was just a question, would it be a good idea to have a different set of eyes on it?
And I'm sure there's a community member or is Mr. Osterhaus who asked them those questions. We could get around, and at some point that might be a good thing to look into, but it's also much more difficult. The process of getting organized and ready for it.
with Colleen and Andy and I were just newly together. It's really helpful to have some consistency on our audit for at least a couple of years. Okay. We'll make that acknowledgement at the next meeting. Okay.
So I can make a motion then to keep the audit engagement letter or the same company that we've worked with previously.
Motion by Nathan, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Derek. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those same sign. Carried. Next up is discussion, possible action on the intent letter for rehiring staff. We have a staff list here of people who are working with us currently this year. We'd like to offer them an intent to rehire slip for next year. If we have their salaries, we can offer work agreements right now. We're still hopeful that state legislature will get together and give us at least kind of an idea where their finances might lie for next year. So we can offer them intent to rehire so they know they can come back and get at least the salary they didn't get the past year, but with a guarantee it's going to go up. We just don't know how far yet. Hopefully in the June board meeting, we can have that discussion and know exactly what the work agreements will be, but we at least want to let them know we want them back and get their letter signed at the intent return. Okay. Entertaining motion for-
I have a question, Greg, and this is probably me being new, I haven't read the employee handbook yet. Is there a place to review the compensation model and when do teachers usually find, or staff members usually find that out? Like their final next year's salary?
They hopefully will find this out in the June board meeting. We've had a compensation model committee working, the human resource committee working with us and staff about how we can tweak the system we have currently to make something that makes more sense long-term for everybody. And we kind of came up with a consensus from that committee, but we're still waiting for the state to know how much money could be fit into that system.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to put out intent to rehire letters to staff.
The motion by Ashley, do I hear a second?
Second.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried. Next up with discussion possible action on the property and liability insurance agreement. Tricor is our insurance agent that works with us, and all these insurances you have on the sheet in front of you is from EMC Insurance, Property, Liability, Crime, Automobile, Land Actor, Cyber Solutions, Umbrella, and Workers' Comp. This is a 5.6 increase from this past year. Property has a lot to do with that, just like increases in costs of building, anything has gone up. That's a big part of this. It's still less than we kind of budgeted for this year. We're kind of expecting a little bit of an increase this year, which you didn't see as big an increase. So this is still actually under the budget that we had for this year. The workers' compensation actually is a good one. It's going down, and we actually get a 1.13% rebate on this because our experience modification number is going down. There's less claims, so we're actually even better at workers' comp. So there's less injuries on the job. It's a good thing. When you reviewed it, with them, did they, for the coverage limits and stuff, did you guys go over the increase in lumber? And that was a big part of the property. Okay. The one thing that's on the bottom of this that we are considering like to approve is the first option, increase the cyber solutions from $50,000 liability to $5,000 liability. You see an awful lot of ransomware and things go on. And we talked to Jake Hartman, the technology director, for an extra $229. Feel they might be a wise investment to protect the district from a high cost cyber attack or ransomware. They don't care how big or small you are. They're just looking for a backdoor to get in anywhere and get some money. So we would suggest you accept this with the addition of the $229 premium for cyber solutions, cyber crime.
Did you and he feel that that's enough? Obviously, the increase or the ransomware attacks on schools have been increasing. Is that going to be enough to cover a potential situation?
It sounded like it covered 95% of the times. We could go to much higher. Jacob felt that this was at least a good start. We felt that we could always reevaluate next year. At least we want to get to this.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other thoughts, concerns? I'll entertain a motion for accepting the renewal for the property line.
And would that be with the $229? Are we, do we talk about that? With the extra $229 for the cybersecurity?
I thought that would be,
Is that included in this number?
that's in addition to that number.
It's an addition.
Well, it's an addition, yes. Last kind of muffles it, I can't.
Yes, yeah.
Can I ask another question? What are the other two options down there that are under that? What are those?
The middle one's it's increasing losses out of infringement from if someone sued us because of like false, we shouldn't have hired them. So they could sue us, and there's a range that you could increase the limits. People are white, they're suing us because we let them go, then you probably deserve it a little bit. But I think it's very unlikely we would hit those limits anyway on a lawsuit. The other one's a school key personnel leaving or if something happened to them, that you could pay an extra premium in case the principal or someone who just was gone all of a sudden for some reason and you had to spend money to replace them. So neither one seemed like money that we really needed to spend.
So those are options from them.
Correct. Of course, they always try to leave more options to obviously. Did we get a motion?
I would like to make a motion, just to make sure I say it right, with the property and liability insurance renewal with the $229 additional for the cyber solutions increased premium.
Okay, motion by Derek, do I hear a second?
I will second it.
Second by Nathan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, then all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Guess if there was ever a topic for the update of the safer sailing, if we social distance as a board, did we take the mask off so we can more clarity in the field? And 33 years of artillery and gunfire, it was everything's something muffled. That could be a fire safe sailing in June possibly. Would any board ever never have an objection to that?
Just as long as we clarify the rules and we make sure that it's clear, because we obviously want to be the top role models for staff and students in the district. So just as long as we can give that clarity and also explain what the mask plan moving forward is, I think would be wise.
Okay, so I would go back to the agenda, I go to the June's meeting, then we would vote on it at the beginning, for an agenda. So that we can unmask when we're having the June meeting. We put the agenda item on every board meeting, so that would be a recommendation for the board. Okay, fair enough. Next up is the update on the pupil count audit. Every about 3 or 4 years at the school is randomly assigned to get a pupil count audit. We have a report here from Johnson and Black. They also did a pupil count audit besides the financial audit. The first pages are just kind of the traditional boilerplate that we do for every district. Page 5 is where the numbers really start happening. There's the September pupil count that they came up with the exact number of students that we had reported, so there was 0 change in September count. Once we were aware that the pupil count audits, there's some work done through by staff to find out exactly what the auditors reported here. In fact, we gave them these numbers and then they just wrote them down for us. But found 2 students enrolled, but they actually did not attend. So they were on enrollment, but they did not actually attend our district. So on page 7, you'll see that our pupil count in January was down like 2 students, and those are the 2 students. Again, they enrolled, we put them on our system, and then they actually did not show up. But page 8 is the summer school, exactly the same numbers. They came up with what we had.
Would that change in the pupil count for the audit? Will that affect anything financially, like the state aid that we have?
State aid is where that figures into. It doesn't figure into the revenue limit, but it'd be a slight change in state aid.
Do we have to pay anything back that we're on?
No, the state aid, the numbers here give you the aid for the following year.
Okay,
So this was nothing retroactive. Okay, so just informative. No action required. You don't need anything for the state, that's for that. You don't need, there's no action needed, no. And then discussion about selection of the fundraising banners for the athletic complex. The last time we talked about having the foundation help us with fundraising banners. Nathan and I spent a lot of time with the fields looking at how this might work and how we could fit them in. We've got some prices from Patrick Sporting Goods for a, I forgot the exact material, but it's a metallic, strong, sturdy material that can be fixed to the fence and they're long lasting, so we can't have something that will wear out quickly. They're about $300 a piece for a 3x6 sign. We were originally looking at all the fields of the outfield of baseball to put one in the center and every other post, between every post was not entire outfield fence line. We're also looking at as you enter the stadium by the football, that not on the football field, but just in the little plaza area, putting on the fence there for people to see as they come in. We're looking at $250 per year for people to donate to have those. So the first year is kind of a wash, you don't really make much on it, but if people want to continue to advertise there, we want to respect the people who donated money for the scoreboards so that we don't overshadow those donations. But we also talked about giving them a free board because they spent the money to donate for the scoreboard. So we give them a board at least one of the fields too, so that they can get some extra advertising because we appreciate the support there. So that's what we're looking at, something very, very sturdy, most metallic. We would order them from Patrick Sporting Goods, but we'd like the foundation to do the legwork of finding businesses and collecting money to help us out with that. They can be a fundraiser for them, but you also need an organization that's very ongoing, and it would take the burden off our athletic director, the principal, or anybody else. Also, we allow them to help us do this.
So how many total things are there in the two fields and the two in one?
Nathan, you remember how we counted if we did every other on the baseball and softball?
There's 36 on the baseball field and 21 on the softball diamond.
26 and 21 is what you could have.
26 and 31. 31 on the baseball, 36 on the baseball diamond, 21 on the softball diamond.
Nathan, did you consider those pictures that I sent, the ideas that they had from that stadium there in Nashville?
I did look at it. I actually hadn't showed Dennis anything. I don't know if Cody had showed something to Dennis, the stuff that you had sent. So I didn't actually show Dennis any of that.
Do we have any type of like picture or visual of what this? So how big did you say the sign is?
3x6. On the posts are 8 feet apart. So you can see there'd be about a foot gap between the post and the sign, and then 3 feet high banner.
And the sign will be hung on the higher side of the diamond. So if people want to sit down in their chairs and watch the game from the outfield, they'll be able to see into the field.
And that's one of the things we thought too. If you put it every other on the outfield, if you're standing on the past the outfield, there's an event, every other space between posts, there'd be no blocking the view. Even though it's up high and stand and still see through. So it kind of gives us the best of both worlds, get some donations, but also they're not having a totally obstructed view.
I totally watched the softball game from my car the other day. It was really cold. It was really nice to be able to see. So that won't be affected.
If you do this, it'd be at the most every other, we have no idea how many would sell.
Okay.
I guess because when you think about that, there's a number of people who are sitting on softball fields and games for there. We should still start from the center field and go left before we go right.
And I can send you guys pictures of the field that I took pictures of, just for ideas.
Yeah, anything we can see would be helpful. Thank you.
Because those are pretty nice. They had platinum, gold, and silver categories, and then they were all the same type of sponsorship. Except that it's all the same size.
Were that just gonna be like per year, or were we locking people in for a certain number of years? Is there a number of 5 year, 10 years will sell?
We were looking at $250 per year. If someone to give us $2,500 and just do 10 years up front, they would be fine with that.
How many? Sorry, I can't.
You said 2 to 3. What did you say for how many years?
Yeah, I said $250 per year.
Or 250?
So they can give us as much as they
It's
want.
a 10
But were we
year,
saying something like, Nathan, last time, weren't you saying something like the companies would probably want to agree to like so many years and not just
Yeah.
one or something like that?
I actually have an insurance company that already wants to do a 5-year note. So I think that you go year by year, but I think most of the people you're going to find are going to do 5 years. They're going to write you a check for $2,500 and we'll be, I think it'll be pretty clean that way.
We had a couple of companies that were working in the field and they said, actually, we won't charge you our last, I don't remember how much it cost, was 3,000 or 1,700. Just give us a banner up there to start the advertising. So we're actually saving money to begin with because we didn't have to pay the last part of like the landscaping or the earthworks.
And do we, or the district being on the policy committee, just throwing that in there, do we or the Pirate Foundation already have a policy that would blanket kind of expectations for what's allowed on advertisement? Or do we need to start coming up with that?
That's what we're approving, right? That's what we're approving right now, Derek. We're gonna have a 6 foot by 3 foot sign that's gonna be centered in between post to post. And at that point, it's gonna be up to the Pirate Foundation to raise the money and hang the signs.
But I think Derek's saying like, we don't want to have, we said there was no alcohol,
Yes.
no
Right.
smoking, like no
Right.
cigarettes, like,
That's all we expressed in the last board meeting, that none of those would be allowed. We would have we would be the ones doing the ordering to manage sporting goods so that we would be able to verify that it's an appropriate advertisement before we send it in.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So
what
when
I'm-
they do a registration of the request to advertise, it has that language in there, they consent to that.
Yes.
That's the language piece. That's the word I was looking for. Do we have the language in place that will give clarity to businesses who might look to advertise or to individuals who might want to advertise?
Yes.
And then with that, if the sign gets damaged or like they're advertising it and they have a 5-year thing with us and their sign gets destroyed, do we? fix that?
We'd have to replace it, just like the scoreboard got damaged in 2 years, and we'd like with tornadoes ago, we'd have to replace the sign for the bank or the foundry or somebody else.
okay, so I'm gonna just back up Derek's question again, because do we have something in writing? Like, I know we talked about the language, but do we have something that we're providing these businesses?
I wrote it down for the last board meeting, and
Okay,
that's what we'll use as our.
okay.
The template for the registration form.
Yes.
Okay. So, good discussion. Anything else that needs to be brought up on that concern? Nathan, anything else you're looking for?
No, I don't, but I would make a motion to let the Pirate Foundation handle the fundraising for the banners at the athletic complex.
Okay, motion by Nathan, there, here a second.
I'll second.
But I like to put the caveat in there that the school does the final approval.
Yes.
of the-
So like the college, Ember, like the college team that's coming to play here this summer, their original team name was like the Columbia County Beer Brewers, or it was something, Columbia County Beer Brewers, and it went to Cody, and Cody ex-nated it just like that. So he sent it back saying, no, we can't have beer, we can't have this and that. So right away, they changed their name to fit the school's image. And, to their defense, at first, they weren't expecting to play at the school. So, but once they knew that they were at the school, and Cody said, no, it was changed within the day.
Good. I still just like to have it in writing, just so that just in case something would come up where the foundation wanted to put one through, that it's in
We did a
writing.
similar thing with the people who donated for the scoreboards. We put it in writing, a little contract, so that it was all written down, so that it was, I'm trying to take the same template for this.
Okay, so for clarity for Andrea, for the minutes and stuff, the motion is to have the Pirate Foundation fundraising for the banners in the athletic complex, and with the stipulation that the registration form does the screening for what the ad will state and the board approves, or the school.
The school, yeah.
School,
It doesn't
school
really
approves,
necessarily
yeah. We don't-
go
we
on.
don't bring that back to
Technically,
the board,
that's
yeah.
what it says.
That the intent of your motion there, Nathan?
Yes.
And you're good with that with a second? Okay. So any further discussion? Motion by Nathan, second by Derek.
I think Ember gets the credit for the second, actually.
Oh, everybody, second, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you for correcting. Any further discussion? Hearing none, and all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried. Okay, next up is the discussion possible action on the PTO payout for Brian Taco and Ryan Gary.
Most active for 5 days payout of their PTO according to the administrative contracts. They can turn in 5 PTO days that's no longer on their docket anymore. For half their per diem rate each year, and has to be approved at the May board meeting according to their contracts. To bring that forward today to approve 5 PTO half payout days for them each.
I'll make a motion to do the PTO payout for Brian Taco and Ryan Gary.
I'll second.
Motion by Ashley. Any further discussion?
I would have one question. How does that compare to other employee groups? Is that in everybody's handbooks?
That's administrative contracts.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries. The next up is discussion possible action on the summer school work agreements.
All right, so I want to just give a quick show and thank you to Carrie Lee for helping me out organizing summer school and getting that all set up and ready to go for the summer. I've worked with Andrea and per the teacher handbook, we are offering contracts to staff for summer school for both sessions 1 and 2. And then we also have a few outside of our normal summer school sessions running. One of them being in August, and again, with a good mix of academic and enrichment programs. So I'm looking for approval to approve those contracts going forward. The contracts will go out to teachers later this week, early next week, with a plan to get those back by the following Friday.
So those are similar to last year's then?
Yes, per the staff handbook, yep, they're very similar.
Okay.
The only difference would be we have session 1 this summer, last summer we only had session 2.
Okay, any questions or concerns? Hearing none, then I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the summer school work agreements.
Motion by Derek, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Amber. Any further discussion? Hearing none, and all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
same. Motion carries. Next up, the discussion of possible action on staffing recommendations. It's like we have a hiring of a 3rd grade teacher.
Yeah, we have a couple hirings. First one is our incoming 3rd grade teacher looking for approval for Tracy Mickelson. Tracy has been with us both last school year and this school year, working as a long-term sub in our 3rd grade position. She's done a fantastic job. She interviewed also very well for the position. We did full-blown interviews, did very well through that process. We're looking to approve her. And then also in 2nd grade, we had an interview team. We hired several different candidates. Skylar Olsen has been offered the position. Skylar is a Columbus resident, is currently finishing up her student teaching. She's a lacrosse student, and she's currently at Lacrosse School District at Southern Bluff Elementary, doing her 2nd grade student teaching. She also completed a kindergarten student teaching practicum also, and Skylar would be a 1st grade teacher for us.
Any questions? Concerns? Hearing none, then I'll entertain a motion for the hiring.
Yeah, I was gonna wait for you to approve those two.
Oh, okay.
I'll make a motion to hire Tracy Nicholson as 3rd grade teacher and Skylar Olsen as 2nd grade teacher.
I'll second.
Motion by Ashley, second by Amber. Any further discussion? Hearing none, and all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next up will be the summer student maintenance.
Yeah, through the month of April, we accepted applications from our students. Like we've had a long tradition of hiring our students to work in the summer, not only in maintenance, but also in IT. So through that process, we make them put on an application. They put that into us in the office. From there, we schedule an interview with every person that applies. So Mr. Marks and I sat down with all the interview people for the maintenance position, all the students, and then Mr. Hartman and I sat down and did interviews for the tech positions. So either way, what we tell the kids is they're going to get an interview experience, something that they can use, and then I'll give them pointers on how they did well, what they did to work on, and then give them good or bad news, but I tell them that they're obviously trying to improve and impress Mr. Marks and Mr. Hartman. So out of that, the 5 students that we're hiring for the summer maintenance position, Willow Polish, Katie Meyer, Shablik Schultz, Levi Kirchberg, and Jacob Metz. And then the 2 IT, Zach Nicholson and Daniel Mazzaki. So they did a great job, and all the candidates that did the applications and went through the interview process were really awesome. And I'm excited about getting the students back in. I think it adds just a different culture when the kids can help keep our school clean and ready to go.
Thank you very much.
That's awesome, and I love that you turn it into an educational opportunity. Just out of curiosity, what's the rate that we pay students for work?
We pay $10 an hour, and then we work them 20 hours a week. Tech is a little less. There's only like 40 total hours for tech throughout the summer. So the same rate, $10 an hour.
And and this might not be a question that you might know, are we consistent what we pay students, whether they're lifeguards or summer work, IT, some custodial, roughing?
I don't know the rec and the officiating or the lifeguard that. I don't know that. That's not my realm, so I don't know if that's equal or the same, but I think the student helpers in the summer maybe a touch higher than those.
Roughing and stuff, that's per game, that's usually not by.
I should know if we have a formula, like when we do with student pay.
I can jump in there if you want. Lifeguards receive $10 an hour. Rec supervisors that work the desk make $11.25 an hour.
Thank you very much.
Who do they report to?
Which one?
Who do the students report to?
In the summer, the maintenance will be under Paul Marks, and the 2 tech will be under Mr. Hartman.
Okay.
And then the lifeguards and supervisors report to Mr. Schultz as rec director.
Okay.
Now entertain a motion for the hiring of the student workers.
Motion for the hiring of summer student maintenance and tech help.
Motion by Ashley, for a second.
I'll second it.
Second by Derek. Any further discussion? Hearing none, and all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Same sign. Oh, Dave's- and we're students, we're family. Thank you. And district reports, principals.
All right, so came to the building on Monday and looked at my watch and like, boy, it just feels a little bit different. Like, oh yeah, it's May, that's right. Kids are excited, teachers excited. Also reflected on, yeah, this is the longest we've been in school in quite a while. So I think everybody is looking forward to a little bit of summer coming up. On the special ed end of things, things I'm working on in that department right now is completed exit outcomes for our 6-year-old students. That's something that we have to do per our indicators for the state. We're also finishing up initial evaluations of students. It's just that time of year where you got to get that paperwork in, get those evaluations done. And so that's a busy piece going on right now. I also attended a CISA 5 training, one of a couple I'll be going to regarding the upcoming audit for special ed next school year, and that was very helpful. Other things that are going on here, elementary wise, coming up in the future, just some important dates. May 24th is our kindergarten graduation date this year. We do have a rain date also. And then this Friday, Keith, correct me if I'm wrong, but this Friday, 5th grade, we're doing the flag retirement ceremony.
I got these certificates, if you want to take them to Mr. Polish and have fill in.
Yeah, great. I can take that. Yeah, that starts at, is it still 9 a.m.?
9:30.
9:30, very good. And then we also are in the midst of planning our field day for the last day of school here on June 2nd. And I want to just thank Mr. Pauls for kind of getting the ball rolling there. It's something that we were not able to do last school year with everything going on. So the kids and the staff are excited to be able to do that again this year.
Very good, thank you.
All right, buckle up. I got a bunch. Usually I don't have a ton, but I got a lot today. So shout out to Mr. Hoffman and Mr. Wenzel. We do have our math conference math meet results in. Our overall fall routine finished 5th. Some notable placements were Jacob Yell fourth in algebra, Ella Salzman sixth in algebra, Pierce Vaglin eighth in algebra. Overall, the team finished fourth in algebra. For geometry, Jacob Johnsrud seventh place. The team placed fourth overall in geometry. The small advanced algebra team finished sixth overall. For advanced math, Josh Dietzenbach finished 10th in the individual test, and the team was sixth overall. Overall members of the team, algebra, Pierce Vaglin, CC Taves, Connor Greenwald, Jacob Yell, Ella Salzman, and Larissa Henning. Geometry, Ava Rosinski, Matthew Miller, Jacob Johnsrud, Lali Rio Sanchez, and Mariah Ballman. For advanced algebra, Kylie Cunard and Daniel Mazzaki, and then advanced math, Jacob Dietzenbach, Josh Dietzenbach, Haley Lane, Zach Mickelson, Eli Schultz, Weersman, and Bella Gregorio. Congratulations is what Mr. Wenzel says, and they did an outstanding job at the math meeting. So congratulations to them. Ryla, we talked about that last month a little bit. Josh Dietzenbach and Will Polish will be featured in our newsletter. They'll be attending virtually the Ryla, which is the regional leadership conference through Rotary. Both our Rotary Club will sponsor them, so the kids will not pay any fee to be part of those cool opportunities. Graduation update, May 29th, 11 a.m. Diplomas are on their way, so we're getting a little tight on that, but they should be here by the 21st of May. We'll get signatures. Usually we're signing them at the May meeting. They're not here. We try to get them here. They're going to be here next week, so I'll be contacting you and hopefully get you in to sign those for graduation. The risers, I called them on today. We had ordered some new risers for the field for the outdoor ceremony. So the maintenance team had to build them this year, and then the music department could use them for the future. 3 of the 4 are ready. They promised me the 4th one will be ready soon, and they will get them here by graduation. So good news on both fronts there. Social media will be starting our senior spotlight. So if you check out Facebook, you're going to start seeing our seniors as they graduate. We'll have their individual pictures. For the most part, we'll have 1 every day for sure, and then some days probably 2 because we'll get every senior done by the end of May. We want to have everyone highlighted. So you'll start seeing them. And the middle school finished up what we used to call pennies for patients in elementary. It's now called the Hero Squad for cancer, raising money for cancer. Obviously, it's near and dear to our hearts because some of our kiddos obviously have beaten that and are here in our school. And they did a nice job there. I think they're over $2,000 is raised by our middle school in a couple of weeks. So a shout out to one really, Austin did a great job, really getting fundraising for that. So I do also have some test scores. I've already test scores. All testing in the district is done, except we're finishing up some of our iReady diagnostic dating tests. So some mathematics and some reading stuff at the middle school level is getting finished up. But early data from our 7th and 6th grade reading, our scores are really good. So even in an awkward year, or maybe even a catch-up year, our students are growing, our students are learning, and I have that data back here if you'd like to look at it later. So
you're going to put all that in the newsletter for the kiddos for the word recognition.
Yep, it's the math meet, wireless, all that stuff's ready in. There you go. Yep.
Yeah, thank you. District Administrator. Well, like back at the notice, they talked about the photo op we had. We invited the people who donated money to the businesses for the athletic field for the scoreboards. So a week ago on Friday, Nathan and Brian and I went out there for photo ops with the companies that donated. And the one company brought like 7 people for a big photo op that everybody sees. They're very, very proud. You can tell their donation for the field. And then I saw on their social media page already, saying what a great the fields look, how happy they're to be part of Fall River and to help make the fields look so special. We have 2 more that weren't able to show up that day, so we're going to try to schedule them for the same day. And once we get all 5 donors, we'll put it up on our social media too. But it was just really nice public relations day there. All those companies who donated were so excited, and most of them hadn't been able to see the new fields. So it was their first chance to get up here. Of course, there's a person from, I think he goes to Horicon, he's like, wish my kids played here. Very good.
I just have one quick, Brian, how did everybody think the prom went up at the new complex?
Overall, I met with Mr. Troutman, and he's obviously our advisor for junior prom, but overall, I didn't hear there wasn't any complaints about anything. I mean, it was, at first for us, hard to kind of police it the first time being up there. So learning that I had to kind of stay on that side where I could watch the exits of the gym and the bathrooms and be outside for most of the night. I think they like the outdoor facility. I think it was nice for them to get outside. I think in the future, things we're gonna do to update is we'll have some locks on that big gate right away. And so kids can't get out of there once they're in. And so if there is something that happens in the building, obviously you can go out to the field and get away from the building or go around the other side. So we can lock those gates up so we can kind of keep an eye. We do want some more lighting back toward the football bleachers, like even if it's a portable light or something, just to have some visibility back there. But really the Troutmans did a great job in setting up that classroom area, have it be where there's some food and snacks. You know, everyone seemed to, it was, it's long overdue, I think, for kids to have a good time, but I think it went pretty well.
Did they launch the lanterns that they talked about?
No, there was a red flag burn zone, so we're hoping to do that at graduation, but very good question. I talked to both families, and as long as graduation looks okay, we could light them up there.
Very good. Okay, anybody else? Hearing none, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Ashley, second by Amber. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.